All right, we're live. Welcome back. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Coming at you live on a Sunday evening. Hope you all had a grand weekend. Just make sure everything's working here. All right. All right, we're going to, excuse me, wow. Little podcast note, never eat pepperoncinis right before you go live. Will mess you up. Big mistake. All right, but we're going to do this. We are reviewing Ring Warriors, episode number 2 that aired yesterday morning. We got commentary from, now I'm still getting used to these names, but as I watch the show more, they'll become more familiar to me. Larry Brannon and Blake Chadwick. I'm liking the team. It's, you know, anything new like this takes some getting used to. But, you know, as the brand grows on television, like I said, these guys, you know, names will become more common. But for now, you know, they're doing an okay job. Are they going to become my favorite commentary team? I don't know. We'll have to see. But so far, so good. No complaints. Let's talk about these matches. First off, we get Damian Drake coming back. Last week, he faced... Did he face Marty the Moth last week? I think he did. Give me 2 seconds here. Damian Drake. Yeah, Martin Casals. Yes. So, you know, this kid is good. Unfortunately, he's getting clobbered and he's not getting a chance to achieve a lot of offense. But you could tell the kid's got skills and the kid can take a bump. Oh my God, can the kid take a bump? He went up against Alexander Hammerstone, a.k.a. he's often more known as just Hammerstone as far as I know. Someone who I've heard of, but I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. He wrestles for what's that company in Vegas? Same one that Killer Cross I'll say put on the map. I think he really helped bring some attention to that company for being champion for like almost 2 years, or champion for a year, undefeated for 2 years, something like that. Had a rivalry with him. So, and I know that Impact Wrestling is doing tapings in Vegas in another couple months, November, I want to say. I believe it's the same place. That should be very interesting because you can pack a decent amount of people in this place, it looks like. Little hard to tell, but so far I like the atmosphere in this place. Let's talk about Hammerstone a bit. Well, number one, he clobbered Damian Drake, and the fact that Damian Drake came back a second week in a row to face a guy like Hammerstone, I give the kid a lot of credit. When I look at Hammerstone and I look at his moves, he seriously reminds me of a throwback. And I mean, what I'm about to say is the utmost compliment. Because not everybody likes this next name. Not everybody thinks this next name it's certainly not everybody's cup of tea, is what I'm trying to say. Hammerstone reminds me of a classic Lex Luger. And I mean that with the utmost respect and confidence that this guy is, it's just how he portrays himself, you know? He's an old school big guy. He's got the long flowing blonde hair. I even see a little Hulk Hogan in him. But I like Hammerstone right off the bat. Just the way he presents himself in the ring. The way he kind of toyed with Damian Drake, but nonetheless just squashed him, annihilated him. However you want to say it, he beat him to a pulp. It'll be very interesting to see if Damian Drake comes back anytime soon. The kid's got heart though. So from what I think I understood this right, was the winner of this match was going to face Martin Casaus in the first week of the Grand Championship tournament next week. So next week we're getting 2 new matches, the kickoff of the Grand Championship tournament for the Ring Warriors Grand Championship. So yeah, it looks like we're going to get those two facing off with each other. I think I understood that correctly, but nonetheless, I can't wait for that. Oh, who else we got here? We've got, okay. With the ladies of Danger Inc. again coming down. Nicole Savoy debuting her talents in the ring this time with Desi Dorada and Allison Danger with her at ringside, going up against cheerleader Melissa. Now I've heard many positive things about her wrestling skills in the past. If you follow my channel, you know I talk about her once in a while being on Lucha Underground, and I know that she's also part of the Stardom company that's in Japan. I believe she's kind of a talent rep as far as talent going from like the US to Japan, like helping out in that process, I believe. And obviously a lengthy history in the women's independent wrestling. And Danger Inc. really starting to make a name for themselves in this company between Desi Dorada and Nicole Savoy, with the leadership of Allison Danger. So far, this team is 2-1 as Nicole Savoy comes out with a win over Melissa Anderson. Melissa Anderson, though, is a tremendous women's wrestler, not shading her in the least. Nicole Savoy winning with a Shining Wizard. And then the next is just comical. It was said last week that Austin Aries was going to be defending his Impact Wrestling Championship this week on Ring Warriors, which really piqued my interest. I was like, wow, this is really something. How a champion from another TV brand can come on here and defend his title, while this TV brand of wrestling does not have a champion yet, and Austin Aries is part owner, apparently. So, what do they call minority owner? Something like that. So he's talking about giving someone from the back a chance, and then all of a sudden points to the corner at a kid named Vince. And this kid Vince, if you know Austin Aries, wrestling past from the last few years. Being in another company run by a man named Vince and the problems he had in that company. And then they just let him go for zero reason whatsoever, just because they had nothing for him. If you're going to tell me that this isn't a jab at someone who doesn't know how to book a talent like Austin Aries, come on. Austin Aries may not admit that, but I try to put 1 and 1 together, and obviously you're going to come up with 11 in this one. Or 2, excuse me. I'm not the greatest at math either. So, Austin Aries picking someone out of the crowd, someone who has a Ring Warriors TV crew on with the name of Vince, who has 7 matches in his illustrious in-ring career so far, and basically has about a 10-second wrestling match with him and defeats him in just glorious fashion. He just takes him down, does like the airplane body spin around him, puts him in the last chancery, taps almost immediately. And then he rolls out of the ring, collapses to the floor, and Vince is helped away from ringside. And Austin Aries is so proud of himself. So, yeah, too funny. Too funny. Then we get what I think is going to be, in my opinion, this next part was the most interesting part of the show. And I almost missed it because because I DVR'd it, so I'm fast forwarding through commercials, and I fast forwarded over this promo, and then all of a sudden something clicked. I'm like, okay, that didn't look like a normal commercial. Let me go back and look at it. And sure enough, it was a gentleman by the name of Reverend Joseph E. Nelson. He cut a pretty interesting promo here. Had a southern accent, talking about how there is no, how did he say this? He said there was no maniacs running wild in Ring Warriors, and he used another classic term. Oh, there's no American dreams. I believe he said something to that effect. Obviously referring to classic wrestlers. And he said that everyone in Ring Warriors was just lying and sounded like deceitful. I'm paraphrasing a little bit of this, but just a lot of fake people in Ring Warriors, to sum it up. And that this Reverend was going to have to bring in like an unholy force to get rid of all the liars and deceit from this company. Race Fan Rocks is in the chat. Hello. Happy Sunday to you. He said he was going to bring in a dark child and a demigod of death into this company. That makes me very curious to see what is actually coming from this gentleman who seems to be a man of God, but if he's bringing something unholy to the Ring Warriors, that makes me really wonder where this guy's morals lie. So, very cool. I mean, I'm glad I went back and rewound it and watched this, because this guy's prophecy of what is to come from Wing Warriors was pretty. I liked it. This guy could really cut a promo. Happy Sunday, about to go to Lucha Libre and see Ramsey from the movie with Jack Black. All right, cool. We'll have fun doing that, man. That's awesome. What is next here? We got the main event. Now, this was a lot of fun, folks. This was a lot of fun. Some really good classic tag team match in here from two teams that I've never seen before. You got the 1% with Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Very good team from what it looks like. Against, this is just a lot of fun. And I'm not making fun of them. It's just the name cracks me up. And this team was just a lot of fun to watch. Very entertaining. Very good in the ring, too, besides some, comedic moments in their interview before they came out to the ring. The Slambinos. We got, okay, now I wrote these down. Francisco Ciazzo and AJ Genazzo. Those names right there, priceless. They just, you get, as you get a little more familiar with him, you'd be like, hey, so Ciazzo and the Genazzo coming down to the ring with the Paisan Glenn Gilberti. You can smell the marinara in the air. All these guys, so much fun to watch. Kind of had that old classic FBI feeling to it. If you watched any classic ECW stuff, also had a very short run of an FBI type team in the WWF, or was it WWE? I forget. It was early to mid 2000s, I think. But yeah, didn't involve any of these guys. But Glenn Gilberti, I have not seen him in wrestling in a long time. And it's actually cool to see. Okay, if you don't know him, it's the classic WCW Disco Inferno. Okay. And I'd like to see him actually take, seeing Ciazzo and Genazzo, see, it's starting to roll off the tongue a little easier now. Seeing these two cutting promos before the match actually felt pretty natural. They did a pretty good job, but I'd love to see Gilberti play a little more aggressive of a managerial role going forward. But for a first appearance with these two and seeing these guys for the first time, they felt natural together. It was good. And Glenn actually did interfere towards the end of the match. Both teams looked great in the ring. I don't want to give all the credit to the Slambinos, although I might get something in the mail if I don't. But I'm going to take a risk and give a little credit to the other guys as well. The 1%ers, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Both teams looks like they're going to be playing a serious role in the tag team division of Ring Warriors. Both teams looked great. Slambinos, though, coming out on top of this one. Really good match, though. Excuse me. And then we get the news of the Grand Championship Tournament starting next week with 2 matches, and I believe one of those matches is going to be Hammerstone versus Martin Casaus, a.k.a. Marty the Moth, a.k.a. new Lucha Underground champion. So that's very cool. He's making quite a name for himself. I can't wait to see what he does in this tournament. Hopefully well. He's one of my favorites on Lucha Underground. So we'll see what happens see what he does on this brand. So that's it for this one. Loaded episode, a lot of fun, some really good wrestling, along with, a dose of comedy from Milwaukee's finest, Austin Aries, and a little comedy from the Slambinos as well. Some great women's wrestling to boot. So you get a little bit of everything in this. This is the second episode. I'm really liking this brand so far. And if you're liking it too, by all means, go check it out on WGN Saturday mornings, or at least DVR it and watch it later like I do. Just because I'm not going to watch it at 7 in the morning on on Saturdays. I just can't. Unless I got somebody making coffee for me super early in the morning, and I don't think my wife is going to do that. Mrs. J-Bone loves me, but I don't think she loves me that much. So, and if you're new to the channel, by all means, there's plenty more of this where it came from. Check it out in your free time. If you're digging the product, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. And hopefully I paid enough compliments to the Slambinos so I'm not swimming with the fish later.